There it is. It's an old American, mostly two-lane highway, the country's first major memorial to President Abraham Lincoln.
I think the fun of driving on any historic highway, especially the Lincoln Highway, is the sense of what am I going to see this time?
It goes completely from one coast to the other. There's no end to it.
I think the great thing about the Lincoln Highway, it's coast to coast, so wherever you live, you're not too far from it. Even if you're far north or south, you can aim for it.
Just follow your signs, and it's on there, Route 30, Lincoln Way. They've got signs in some places to draw the attention to the road, and it's older than I am.
The first transcontinental highway, 1913, 3,300 plus miles through 13 states through great cities, anchored by Manhattan and San Francisco. More important than any of the towns or the cities or the big rivers or the mountains or anything are the people.
Now, when we say a highway, we really mean a series of roads connected mostly in the minds of its visionaries. Much of the highway at that time was dirt or gravel. Very little of it was paved.
Right down the road here, about 2 or 3 miles, is one of the Seedling Miles, which is one of the first paved areas that they used to do across the United States to let people know what concrete was like for driving.
The Lincoln Highway, there's often different generations that you can take. The original, and then maybe they rerouted it a block or two away, and then a few blocks away.
You know what it's like? It's so much today like it was back in 1913 and in the early 20s. It's an adventure.
This weekend coming up, I'm trying to think again, how far can I go east or west on the Lincoln Highway before I have to turn around and get back home.
No matter how many times you set out on the Lincoln, there are surprises. For years, this was part of the best route from New York to San Francisco. The Lincoln Highway is just a great American road, a path from coast to coast, a line on a map that provides a way to get to places you didn't even know you wanted to go. It's old and it's confusing at times, but its charms are endless. Its potential's still amazing. And obviously, people love it.
I want to do it. I'm envious of people who've driven the whole thing in one trip.
It gave Americans an appreciation for the breadth of the continent that they simply hadn't had except maybe by train.
It brings us all together. The road, of course, was intended to bring people together.
I know as long as I travel on the Lincoln Highway, if I go far enough, I'll end up being home again.
He was sitting there with a couple of friends, no work to be done, not a care in the world, in that old roadside saloon on the Lincoln Highway. And he was telling stories about the good old days, taking a drive with his baby by his side, and that old Ford breaking down on the Lincoln Highway. Well, the stars, they were shining bright that night, and your mama, she was feeling right, going all the way on the Lincoln Highway, going all the way on the Lincoln Highway.
A ride along the Lincoln Highway was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.